Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Gloria Woods, and I'd like to welcome you tonight to the Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free. I welcome you tonight to my YouTube page. Um, and my name's Gloria Woods, and this is the Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free YouTube page, and we address issues surrounding incarceration or criminal justice reform and many other areas that we want to bring information and assimilate information to all our listeners. And so I am continuous to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube page, which is Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free. That's Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free. And so I am grateful, grateful, grateful. Now we have gotten past the month of May, and today we're in the month of June. Amen. Soon, very, very soon, the summer will be hitting us. I know it's getting warm out in many, many areas. And so I hope you are staying safe. I know we are still, some of us are still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, even though, people are getting out and they're opening up different restaurants and places. So it's a little bit better for us, but I still want you to be safe when you're in public places. Please still wear your mask, and also please remember social distancing and hygiene as well. And so on tonight, I kind of want to talk about a subject that I'm very, very passionate about. I can remember in 2017, after I wrote my first book, Broken Shackles, A Mother's Journey, I was able to meet a wonderful, wonderful person who was affiliated with the ACLU of Florida down here in the Pensacola, Florida area. And her name is Sarah Lattershaw. And so I hooked up with Sarah and many, many other people, and we were able to get petitions to get on the ballot, say yes to second chances, which is the whole voting privilege for those that are incarcerated, getting out of prison, and they call them ex-felons. I personally like to call them returning citizens. Amen. And so it opened up a whole heck of a whole lot of doors for me. I thank Miss Sarah Lattershaw and ACLU of Florida for allowing the opportunity. We went to various places, and we just asked people, how do they feel about those that are incarcerated when they come out, getting the opportunity to be returning citizens to vote. And so we were able to gather many petitions, and I think all over the state of Florida, we got enough petitions so that it could become on the ballot. And I know this is something that we were trying to do for many years, and I know Mr. Desmond Meade, amen, was very, very instrumental in this whole process of the voting privileges for those that coming out of prison and returning into society. And so we want to talk about that subject because a lot has transpired since then. I want to say from all the research I did in November 2018, it was passed into law by a wonderful margin. 64% of the voters voted that the ex-felons had the right to vote when they come out of prison systems, and and so they called that Law Amendment 4. And I know many of us are familiar with, down here in Florida, this good old sunshine state of Florida, of Amendment 4, which gives those ex-felons rights to vote. Now, we were so excited. Many of us were so very excited because this was like a drop in the bucket for criminal justice reform. And we were really excited. We were happy. We were glad. And then something happened in 2000. I believe it was in 2019. Governor Ron DeSantis put a glitch in this whole thing about these people being able to get their voting privileges back. He brought up the fact that there were certain fines and fees that had to be had to be paid in order for a person to be able to vote. Now, my take on all of that, not saying that I'm an expert, but my take on all of that, how many people coming out of prison are going to have money to pay their fines? Not very many. I think someone told me, my daughter told me, who's incarcerated, they give you a bus ticket and $65 to get home if you don't have anybody to come pick you up when you get out of prison. So honestly, to tell you the truth, there's very, very few people that are going to be able to afford to pay all these astronomical fines. Not saying that they shouldn't pay them, but I don't think that should have anything to do with their right to vote. And so, but he saw things differently, and he said that passed a law and a bill that said that that if there's any fines related to your incarceration or to your prison sentence, that those fines had to be paid, else you would not have the right to vote. Well, recently, very, very recently, a federal judge, and I was trying to think about, Robert Hinkle, a federal judge named Robert Hinkle, ruled in favor that it was unconstitutional to the incarcerated and to the ex-felon to put these kind of stipulations upon them, that it was not constitutional. And he overturned DeSantis' rule about the whole incarceration and thing and not being able to vote and all that stuff like that. So right now, Ron DeSantis kind of wants to take that whole issue and he wants to get that overturned. And so I am in the midst of right now going on a video call. I think it's actually this week with the ACLU of Florida, where we're going to be talking about this and we're going to be discussing these issues, because honestly, tell you the truth, this is my take on the whole thing, is that we worked very, very hard. The voters of the state of Florida voted, astoundingly voted that we should say yes to second chances for those that have been incarcerated and those who have gotten out, paid, we quote, like to make this statement, paid their debt to society. And now this dude, Ron DeSantis, wants to just overturn all that. I don't think that's a right thing to do. I think that we need to speak up on it. And I really appreciate the ACLU of Florida in their fight as we talk about the whole issue that has to do with the voting privileges. We're getting ready to really, really talk about this tonight. I want to just let us talk about this, because there's so much going on in our society right now. But we also know that it is like he said, it is very unconstitutional. And actually, there was a lawsuit given on DeSantis and this whole issue, so that the ex-felons and those that are returning to our society can get their right to vote back. I am very, very passionate about criminal justice reform, not only just because my daughter is in a Florida state prison, but because I believe in doing the right thing. I believe in doing what's right. And I was just trying to look up this whole thing so I can give you a little bit more information on this. Says, and I'm going to read a little bit. This is from a May 27th Tampa Tribune article from the Tampa Bay Times. It says, Governor Ron DeSantis said Tuesday he would appeal a federal judge's decision to strike down a Florida law requiring felons to pay fines and fees associated with their sentences before getting back their right to vote. Okay, it says U.S. District Court Judge Robert Hinkle issued a ruling that said Florida's law approved in 2019 to install Amendment 4 was unconstitutional because it required felons to pay restitution, fines, and fees before being able to vote. Listen to this. Florida voters approved the amendment in 2018 with more than 64% of the vote. The people voted so that the returning citizen, the ex-felons, will have a right to vote. Hinkle called the law a pay-to-vote system and noted the difficulty in finding out how much a felon might owe. The ruling calls on state elected officials to determine the amount owed and allow felons to seek an advisory opinion for the full amount. If there's no response in 3 weeks, they should be allowed to vote, the ruling states. The lawsuit brought by 17, now this is wonderful here. The lawsuit was brought by 17 ex-felons, was argued by lawyers for the American Civil Liberty Union, which is the ACLU, and backed by other liberal and voting rights groups, which call the ruling a victory. So what are we saying tonight? We're saying tonight is that it is a right for us to allow ex-felons to vote. It was voted on. So why is the governor of the state of Florida, using his power to stipulate that these people should not have the right to vote? I remember seeing, I think it was Desmond Meade, and when it was first passed, the law was first passed, and he was just so very, very excited, to stand in that line to be able to vote, and so many people. It not only does it is it right, but it gives them a sense of accomplishment. When you come out of prison ain't no picnic. When you go into prison, some people go into prison and they go for offenses that they didn't even commit. Some people go into prison, amen, because they were wrongfully convicted. Some people go to prison for non-violent offenses, like simple drug offenses. And so, am I saying that people shouldn't go to prison? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that when they come out, we should treat them as citizens. And one of the greatest privileges of a citizen is to vote. And so I'm going to be assimilating information in the days to come on my Facebook page, and I'll probably come back on this page, try to get some people to come in and talk on my YouTube station so that we can get this information. Like I said, they're doing a Zoom, a Zoom conference or whatever. And I think it's this weekend that I'm going to be involved in, and I'll be able to assimilate more information. But I am so grateful that that the ACLU of Florida fights very, very hard to restore the voting privileges of the ex-felon, or I like to call them the returning citizens. So this YouTube station is really geared to talk about criminal justice reform issues. And of course, we're going to assimilate other issues because I'm getting into things that have to do with mental health. But tonight, I just wanted to talk about this whole issue, that whole, issue, how we voted, the people voted, just like the president, the people voted to have the ex-felons' rights, voting privilege restored. We had a big campaign called Say Yes to Second Chances. It was called Say Yes to Second Chances. And it was 64%, over 64%. And then out of a bureaucracy and a political move, the governor decided he wanted to put stipulations on it. And now, it was taken to a judge, a federal judge, and found that it's unconstitutional to say a person can't vote because they still owe fees. There's plenty of fees I owe. Maybe not to the courthouse, but I owe bills. What's the difference? They don't tell me I can't vote. And so I'm very passionate about this. I thank God for all my criminal justice friends. There are many, many groups right here in the state of Florida. I really, really am grateful for the ACLU of Florida, who continues to push. They got attorneys involved. They got people that push for voting privileges for those that are ex-felons, for those that have served their time, for those that, quote, we say, serve, their debt, paid their debt to society, but we still want to treat them as criminals, amen. But I am so grateful for this opportunity on this short Facebook Live tonight to let you know that we are yet fighting for say yes to second chances, and so that the ex-felon, the one that's returning into our citizens society, we can welcome them back and let them know you have the privilege to vote. So again, my name is Gloria Woods. This is the Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free YouTube station. I'm asking you to please subscribe. I got 13 subscribers that I've had since the day I started it. So please share this, and also please subscribe. We want to do some great things. We want to talk about these issues. A lot's going on, I know, in our nation right now. There's a lot of racial tension, regarding the recent event of of the gentleman that got killed. And so I can't, we hear this, I can't breathe, and so we want to, this YouTube channel, to address those issues. We want to get the issues out there, talk about them, and be able to help so that we can set the prisoner free. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. Tune in with me on next week. We're going to have another exciting subject for you. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but, if you have anything that you're interested in me talking about or researching, just hit me up on my Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free Facebook page. We are all about making change, making things better. When people come out of prison, we don't want them to be a statistic. We may talk about recidivism on next week. I don't really know, but I am so passionate about criminal justice reform. I believe God has called me for such a time as this so that we can set the prisoner free. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. Again, follow me on my Facebook page, Broken Shackles Set the Prisoner Free Facebook page. Also follow me on my website, which is settheprisonerfree.com. settheprisonerfree.com, and also continue to follow me on this wonderful, wonderful YouTube station that I'm so glad to have. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening, and I'm out of here.